to the next episode of The Lair. On today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about marketing. Marketing, to me, I really, at one point in time, didn't have a whole lot of respect for. I thought it was just, let's put up something on the website, let's talk about it, and eventually someone will build it. And then I did my MBA. And I realized how much data and science really goes into marketing. And as I was reflecting, I started thinking about some of the people that I worked with in my past. And at one point I was like, okay, yeah, we're just putting on parties, but not realizing exactly how we're going to connect with our intended audience. So joining me today is someone who I've always been very fond of. And I am so glad to be able to have her on the show. Christine Billingsley, who was in charge of marketing and kept me out of so much trouble in a previous life. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Dan, and thank you for those kind words.
Yes, it was fun, and I can still say that, in my opinion, having gone to all these security conferences all over the world and been a big part of DEFCON, no matter what anyone has done, you were able to take this vision that I had in my mind, bring it to reality, and it is probably still the best party that has ever been thrown at DEFCON.
Yeah, no, your idea was amazing, and you really, between you and Grifter, really kind of made the whole arcade party concept come to life, and it's now become, a regular annual tradition at DEFCON, and I'm happy to see it carry on.
So, I came up with, I told you, I was like, I want a little bit of retro, I want some Donkey Kong, because to me, it's always on like Donkey Kong, but you had to take it a little bit to the next level. I mean, it wasn't just about arcades. It was really, how are we going to bring people together, have some conversations, and have a little bit of fun? But how would you and how do you continue to take ideas out of not just like someone like me, but Bryson, who's a very intelligent guy as well? How do you get these visions out of us to bring it out to the public?
Yeah, I mean, everything I think starts with an initial idea, and then to relate back to whatever you're doing, what is the objective or the goal? I've worked for a number of startups, and the first thing is to get attention, to get interest, so that they want to learn more, and to connect with the community. Who is that community that you're looking to connect with? The InfoSec and the hacker world is, a very connected community, and it's really important to be genuine and also to have fun, but to figure out that balance, so that you can get those corporate objectives, but make it fun and interesting to achieve those goals.
It's always going to be difficult to maintain a balance of fun. I would hope the corporate objectives kind of help to perpetuate the fun, but a lot of times with the community, I mean, it could be one little thing that kind of sets them off. I mean, we saw this at Black Phone where people thought our symbol for later on with Silent Circle that it was a Nazi symbol. I mean, it was interesting, and you have to really, pay attention into how you're going to take a look at everything. And I'm going, what do you mean? It's just like there's no Nazi symbol here.
Yeah, I mean, you try when you're starting new things or new campaigns or a new solution there, to try to look at it from all angles so that hopefully it can't be kind of pinpointed in a negative way. But I think if something like that happens, is to be genuine and apologize if anyone felt offended in some regard. That I think that goes a long way, to just be authentic.
Well, I think that's one of the things I've always appreciated about you, in that you weren't ever looking at, no matter what happened, you didn't try to spin it. You're like, no, we don't want to spin this. We need to be forthright. We need to say, this is what we were doing. This was, because a lot of it just came back to intent. And you were always, I felt that voice that was, look, we're genuine. This is the community we're trying to deal with. This is who we're trying to connect with.
Yep.
And sometimes in trying to connect with people, not everyone is going to be a part of that connection, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's respect them. Let's move on and move forward. And I think that's really difficult for a startup company because you're trying to find that community.
Yeah, absolutely. And the organization that I'm with now, Scythe, we really have had a lot of fun with our whole unicorn theme and having that come to life, and, you know, bringing together kind of that association. I mean, who doesn't love unicorns? I mean, I was just thrilled, like, to kind of have that really resonate with people, and then having a lot of fun to build on it.
I still have a lot of those pins, and I give them out to people when they have done something interesting.
Oh, that's cool. That's great.
I don't know how many more I have left. Funny enough is that I gave one to my chief marketing officer and said, hey, you know, you've done something here. You should wear this pin. You know, which is, you know, for those that don't know, you know, the unicorn is actually holding a scythe, which is kind of funny because what startup doesn't want to be a unicorn?
Exactly. And, you know, whether you don't know anything about the company, it's like, well, I really like the branding. And there's a lot of people that are like, well, I just want this for my kids too. And that's where we had fun last year. And we created a whole coloring book. Just, you know, I challenge everyone to just get creative. There's no harm in trying something new and seeing if it sticks and catches on, and build from there.
Do you feel that's one of the reasons why you enjoy startup companies, is that creativity gets to be a part of it all the time?
Absolutely. You know, startups are certainly a roller coaster, and they are a bit of an acquired taste, not for everyone. But, you know, from the marketing perspective, you've got a blank slate that you're just crafting and creating something for. And at larger organizations, you just don't necessarily have that freedom. I mean, sometimes you can, but startups, it's, you know, really, you've got this one chance to make an impression in the community, and you've got to give it your all.
I would agree. There's an opportunity when you're with a startup to use a lot more data that is in very many ways just blue ocean, whatever analogy you want, in order to see which way you want to go and how you want to pivot. You know, you get opportunities to fail fast, or like I like to use, learn fast. You know, so when you're looking at those, like what kind of data are you getting from the community, from when you go to conferences? What do you use in order to try to figure out how you're going to pivot?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tools out there. I mean, marketing, you know, you have information right at your fingertips. So the big thing with kind of starting any campaign or initiative is to develop, what is the goal for this? Are you just trying to get brand awareness? Are you actually trying to get, you know, leads where you need information to give to your salespeople to, you know, follow up with? Are you just trying to, you know, get buzz and be a sensation? Are you trying to do all of the above, you know, driving that web traffic? What message are you trying to resonate? I mean, there's so many questions that you need to just kind of figure out, what are we doing this for? Because we're not just throwing a party because we want to throw a party. There needs to be a reason behind it. And then how do you execute it tastefully, that it's fun and you attract the right people to be there, just for instance?
That's very true. You know, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go work for this startup and it's nothing but we've got the beer taps in the office and we're doing happy hours and, you know, all these kind of things. And well, in many cases, yeah, we may have a beer tap or something like that there, but that's mainly because we're going to have a beer because right at between 5 and 6:30, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and it's easier to have the beer there than it is to go out somewhere. And then we're getting back to work at 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, from a lot of it when I was in the startup world, is that, all right, we did this, we got a little bit of a cool down, and then we had to go take some prospective customers out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's difficult, especially like when we go away to conferences. Yeah, we may have an event, but for us working the event, it's not necessarily the fun. I think to me was seeing the enjoyment in our customers, prospective customers, but
Mm-hmm.
for us, it was work.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of work, and especially when you're traveling, and when we were doing the international travel too. I mean, just adjusting, getting off the plane, regrouping, dealing with some language barriers.
I don't think anyone really understands how difficult it is to have 32 people playing foosball at one time. Which, for those that don't know, at our event in at DEFCON, we had it was a 16 on 16 foosball table that was all LED lighting, and that was always probably the hit of the party.
It's still the highlight today. I mean, I'm sad that it won't be happening this summer with the announcement of DEFCON going remote, but it will be back when probably next summer.
Well, I think that's probably, as much as I would say for myself personally, oh, we need to have the event, let's go. Sometimes, we need to be that appropriate social citizen and say, okay, is it really appropriate for us as a community to have this event when so many other people are rightfully afraid?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to be a part of the community, you need to at least take in what other people feel, because, well, we're all people and we come from different walks of life and we have different concerns. And as much as I may personally want to be like, no, DEFCON must go on, I understand the decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an adjustment for everyone. We've seen a major pivot to focusing on virtual events. So many virtual conferences have popped up, webinars, different ways to still get your message out and try to engage with people during these times. Another hat that I wear, I volunteer and I'm the director of events for the Military Cyber Professionals Association, and we would have monthly happy hour events with a speaker, and now we've kicked off our lockdown lunch and learns, and we have it as a reoccurring event every Tuesday at noon, and it's just been a great way to still try to keep that sense of community and support people, and have something to look forward to. Also, we make it that you can get the a CP credit with it as well, so people are learning.
So right now,
trying times.
How do people in the government, the military, those who are supporting the military and contractors, how do they get connected with that organization?
You can just go to milcyber.org and there's information to join, and you can fill out an application.
That's great. And I think it's really important because, CPE credits are difficult, especially today. I mean, there are those people that just want to collect the credits, and those people that want to learn something. And I think what you're trying to provide with this organization is going to be much more valuable because it's about people connecting with people. We're all like-minded, and we're
Absolutely.
trying to increase the community. So I think that's great.
Yeah, and we're trying to find creative ways to still have, networking opportunities. There are certain challenges on different platforms, but to, make people comfortable to start to reach out, and, leveraging things like LinkedIn for people to connect afterwards. It helps.
So I think this is really interesting. So, which I only got to recently know about this type of organization, so you're involved with some startup companies and you have a way that you're having to market there, but now you've got this organization that you're involved with and you're kind of volunteering and they need to get the word out.
Mm-hmm.
How what are some tips for people that want to be involved like you are? They want to, they find something that draws them to a passion of, whether it be an organization or a startup. What steps, what advice would you give them on how to just to get started and getting the word out?
So, first, figure out what you're passionate about, because when you have that passion behind you, it comes through to people, and people just see that you're genuinely excited and, want to give your all to whatever cause it might be. And then from there, figure out, who in your kind of network right now that you can reach out to that, might know those pieces that you might not be as good at, or want to kind of work to develop some of those skills. And then, I keep stressing it, get creative, think outside the box, try something different. You gotta, there's so much going on in this world, all over the digital space, try to stand out a little bit. What do you have to lose?
Well, I don't know that anyone really has anything to lose except whatever's in their mind. And, but I think a lot of what you're saying is get over your fear. Like the only difference between the hero and the coward, because they both feel the same fear, is that the hero runs towards it, the coward runs away from it.
Mm-hmm.
So put it out there, pivot,
Yeah.
learn. You're gonna find some things that work. You're gonna find some things that don't work. And well, the worst thing that can happen to us is already in our mind, and it's, from my experience, it's never as bad as what is in our mind. Always our own worst critics.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I really appreciate you having me on today. I mean, I was talking to you a little earlier. I mean, one thing that I'm trying to pivot and do is to, get out there a bit more and share my knowledge instead of, running things behind the curtain and getting other people prepped to go on stage. So, challenge yourself, step outside your comfort zone.
Sometimes it seems to be easy to tell other people what not to do in those moments. I mean,
Yeah.
if you remember back, when we were at Silent Circle, um, I got misquoted. It was either the New York Times or Wall Street Journal. That lady just did not want to hear that I wasn't willing to talk about the finances. I mean, that was not what I was authorized. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
stepped in because, I mean, that was part of your role. Part of your role is to kind of help direct the reporter to what, myself and whoever else is there, as to what we are, our areas of expertise. I mean, you have in many ways, a thankless job because you're behind the scenes. You're there to help protect, people like myself and Bryson and countless others when they're in front of the media, because there's no such thing as off the record.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know is as many times as I had said, look, I'm not able to talk about that. I'm not able to talk about that. You had to step in with that reporter and be like, is there something that, we could talk about the technology? I mean, which is, in my opinion, it's not really your personality. Like you're not I mean, you can, like, I don't, not that you can't, but your personality is much more, yes, we can do it. It's positive, but like that, the Christine, train came running through to that reporter to be like, nope, stop. Like, this is it. They don't understand how thankless and how difficult that is to keep the media on track.
Yeah, PR is a delicate dance at times, and it's been evolving and changing over the years too, just with how news is published and the stories, and trying to control the message, but ultimately, you know, they're going to write what they're going to write. It's been wonderful over the years to kind of cultivate relationships with a number of journalists and stuff, and again, going back to that, being genuine and, you know, seeing how you can help them, what do they need, goes a long way.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you're right. The media is going to write what they want to write. Hopefully, they don't edit out. I mean, that's you know, the only thing that I really do in terms of editing is the 1, 2, 3, so I know where to start it, and then I change my background. Right. Outside of that, I'm not looking to do anything. This is just not that I feel like I'm a part of the media. I just I want to talk.
Maybe one day.
I just want to talk with genuine people
Yeah.
about genuine topics that everyone that's in business may come across, and hopefully someone may see this and go like, yeah, I think I need a well after Bryson has transitioned Scythe to whatever that needs to be. So not anytime in the near future. So Christine, one of the things that I like to do as I'm ending these things is, it's time to pay Dr. Ford, which I gave you a little bit of a hint, which is a goal that was going to be recorded for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Now is this time that we're going to tell the entire world. So you're going to be accountable to the world. What's your next goal? What's the next thing that we should expect from Christine? That when I have you back on, and I hope you'll come back on, that we can catch a follow-up on to see how
Sure.
well you've been doing on your goal.
No,
what is it?
That's an easy one. I would like to submit a presentation to a conference and get up on stage and present.
What kind of conference? What kind of topic? What are you looking to talk about?
Well, TBD exactly for the topic, but I would like to maybe like ShmooCon or one of the InfoSec cons. We'll see. So it will have some cyber flavor to it. That's where I need to figure out a little bit of the technical side of things.
What's your time frame? When are you going to start? When are you going to submit? You going to submit for ShmooCon this coming year?
Well, we'll just say the time frame that this will happen in 2021.
Got it. I think that's a great goal, and hopefully, all of my subscribers, and I hope everyone will subscribe, will keep you accountable to this goal.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's great.
It is one of my things that I find enjoyable, that I hope my friends and colleagues keep me accountable to mine, and it's one of the things that I want to help all of my friends and colleagues, which I consider you both, to maintain the accountability to your own goals.
Mm-hmm.
Christine, I cannot thank you enough for coming on. I appreciate all of your time. I do hope you will come on and share some more marketing ideas and give us an update on things with all the organizations that you're dedicating your time to. I think it's very valuable to give back to the community.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me, Dan, and hope to see you again soon.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone.